Okay, this is Chem lesson number 6, and we're still drawing atoms. You are the objective of this is for you to be able to draw any of the first 20 atoms that I point to on the board. All right? So let's draw oxygen. Okay? If I say draw oxygen, here's what you already know. Oxygen is in the second row. Play around, Zaylin.
So it has 2 shells.
So it has 2 shells. It's the 6th atom over in this column number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to have 6 electrons in that second shell. It's going to be 2 away from being filled. Let's see if that's true. See, there's little tricks. Chemistry is not as hard as you think when you know the little tricks. So I draw the oxygen. Has how many protons are in atom number 8?
8.
8. 8 protons. And I'll just tell you, since it has an atomic weight of 16, which has nothing to do with that 16, it has 8 neutrons. 8 neutrons. It could have 10 neutrons, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. It wouldn't change it because neutrons are not that important. How many electrons will... in the first shell, I put in my electrons. They're negatively charged, and they're whizzing around there at incredible speed. And the first shell will only hold 2. That's all it holds. Second shell's a little bigger. Think of it that way. And it can hold 8, but I've already used 2 of them up, so how many more do I need?
6.
6. 2 and 6 make 8, so I got 1. I'll spread them out a little bit.
Wait, so altogether it can only have 8 electrons.
In the second shell?
Well, you
Or
said
oxygen. Yes. Altogether, oxygen's going to have 8 electrons because
no
it has 8
matter
protons.
what.
Yeah, no matter what.
But
You
doesn't
could
the second
strip an
shell-
electron
doesn't
out.
the second shell have 2 more spaces?
Yes. So this
So
second
what
shell...
would happen if another electron jumped onto that second shell?
Okay, since it has 8 good question. What would happen if another electron jumped on here? Well, it would have 9 negative charges and 8 positive charges because of the 9 electrons and the 8 protons. So it would have a charge of -1. That would make it an ion of oxygen because it's this. What decides what makes it is what determines what an atom is its protons. If
What's
it has 8,
an ion?
an ion is a charged atom. An ion is an atom with a different number of protons than electrons. You can make it.
So it's something that is not doesn't have. So yeah.
Yeah. So an ion is a charged atom, and it's gonna try to get balanced.
Is negatively charged still counted as charged because negatively charged would needs more, right?
Yep. Negative or positive. If I somehow, that's a good question. If I somehow magically or whatever, just stripped an electron, if I took an electron away, let's say I took this one away, and I took this one away, and now it had 7. It had 7 negatives, then it would be +1. Should have kept them the same color. It'd still be an ion. An ion means it's not neutral. Now wait, Zealand, let's talk. So now let's look at this. This is where we have the predicting power of the periodic table. I'm just telling you what. When you have these chemistry teachers, they go, "Hey, this." They already know aluminum has 3 shells. They already know fluorine's going to try to has 1 empty space. They know chlorine has an empty space. They know neon's filled. They know lithium has 1 extra. They know how they're going to act just by looking at the periodic table.
Wait, so
A glance at the periodic table means you. Are you talking what I am? The glance of the periodic table means you can automatically know everything that's going to happen in the world of chemistry by a glance at the periodic table because it's set up so powerfully. Now what?
So lithium has 9 or 7 extra spaces, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Very good. All right.
Dad.
What?
Right here, what does noble gases mean?
I will get to that in maybe this video or maybe the next. That's a good question. Noble gas means this. You know what? Let's draw this. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's draw a noble gas. What are the noble gases? They're the orange ones. I don't know if you guys can see the orange over here.
So that's helium.
Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon are noble gases. They're noble gases. Here's what they mean. Let's draw neon. I'm going to draw lithium. I'm going to draw helium and neon. You ready? Here we go.
So it has
Hang on.
one.
How do I start with
Which
atom?
one? Which one I'm starting?
Let's start the smallest one, simplest.
So helium.
Helium's atom number 2.
So it has one shell.
Yep. Well, how many protons in atom number 2?
2.
2 protons. And how many shells?
One shell.
One shell.
With 2 electrons.
Good job. Right there. That is helium. I'll draw a little helium symbol under there. But I don't care if you call it helium or atom number 2. My students never. So that's helium. Now let's draw the second noble gas, neon. It's atom number 10. Since it's atom number 10, Zaylin, how many protons does it have?
10.
10. So 10 protons. And this has 10 neutrons, 2 neutrons. I think that has 10 neutrons, but we'll. Now, first shell, how many electrons will fit in that first shell?
2.
2. Look, you guys, you don't have to memorize this. Look at the periodic table. 1, 2. All you can do is fit 2 protons in the first shell. Now, but I got 10 protons, so I got to have 10 electrons.
10 protons in the second shell, right?
Well, 10 and 2 would make how many?
10. Or 12.
Okay, so watch.
So you have 8 in the second shell.
Good job. 8 and 2 make it 1,
So all
2,
together,
3, 4.
Dad, so all together it can't have it has to have as many protons as many electrons as it says.
The total number of electrons must equal the total number of protons. I mean, the total number of protons must equal the total number of electrons. They must equal each other, or it's going to be charged. Now, well, look here.
Daddy, can I
Hang on, I want to share this a little bit. Now, look here. And this is terrible because I don't have my board, and there's probably better examples. But, now look. Noble gases. Is the first shell here holding as much as it can?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't put any more in. Is the second shell with 8 holding as much as it can?
No.
Yeah.
It's not holding as much as it can.
How many can you put in the second shell?
10, right?
Really? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, 8.
So the second shell can only hold 8.
Yeah.
Is it holding 8?
Yes.
Yeah, let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So this is filled. This neon is filled. And if I drew argon, its third shell would be filled. If I drew an argon here, it would have 3 shells. And they would all be full. If I drew krypton,
It would have 4 shells.
and they'd all be filled. Now guess what?
What's the
Here, stop.
What's Xe?
Xenon. Now, when an atom has filled shells, it doesn't react much. It doesn't want to gain electrons. It doesn't want to lose electrons. And 100 years ago, there were these certain elements, and the scientists remember this periodic table. Who built the periodic table?
I don't know.
Not one person. Hundreds of geniuses worked their entire lives to build a piece of this. And you guys are just handed it. Do you fully appreciate that? You are handed something that took geniuses' lifetimes. Hundreds of geniuses worked their lifetime, and you're being handed this information in 5 minutes. You're learning what they learned in 500 years. Appreciate that. Now,
Daddy, a lot of the periodic table is metals.
right, now I'm going to teach you what a metal is pretty quick. But just hang on to this. So these noble gases, they wouldn't mix with other things. Like oxygen would mix with carbon, and oxygen would mix with, lithium, and lithium would mix with sodium, and you'd have lithium, or sodium would mix with fluorine, and you'd have sodium and chlorine, which is salt, sodium chloride. They'd all mix together. These wouldn't mix with anything. And they didn't know why. They were like, And you know what? That was back when they had kings and queens. Hang on a second. They had kings and queens and royal families. And they said, oh, these are the noble gases. They won't mix with the commoners.
Oh, okay.
Was that right?
No.
No, they're totally wrong. But it was an idea. What I'm teaching you with this right here is not right. Even this, when I show you the real shapes of elements. Oh, come on.
Ow.
No, dang it. Fix that. What was that? What's making that noise?
That's mom's shape.
Oh, she's making it. Yeah, even those shapes are going to be. The future teachers and scientists will show how wrong those are. But, you know, it just isn't anything that doesn't help us a little bit. You know what I mean? So, those scientists saying, oh, these are the these are the royal, noble elements, and they won't mix with the commoners. They didn't understand that their electrons shells were filled. And that since they were filled, they didn't want to do anything. Okay? So that is why they are called, to answer your question, and anybody who has a question out there, this is what the noble gases are.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to stop this and we'll go on to more. Okay, save your question. You can ask it and I'll answer it next video.